Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
We start tonight with a downward trend in college enrollment. That's happening on a national scale. So is the same true at our local colleges and universities? Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst finds out and also examines the reason behind the drop in those seeking higher education.
Good evening, Ann. New York colleges have seen large dips in enrollment and applications over the past year, especially among many SUNY campuses. New York State University system took a massive hit with enrollment numbers during the pandemic. According to SUNY, freshman undergrad enrollment dipped by 10% during the fall semester of 2020. The dip in enrollment was more pronounced among SUNY's community colleges, which had an over 19,000 student decrease compared to 2019. Additionally, SUNY college applications have decreased by around 8.5%. SUNY Chancellor Jim Molitros stated the circumstances of the pandemic have worsened an ongoing enrollment trend in New York. SUNY is taking several steps to increase enrollment for the upcoming semester, such as eliminating application fees and highlighting the value of community colleges in the state. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Dunkin' is donating more than $4,700 to the food bank of the Southern Tier. The money is a result of Dunkin's Iced Coffee Day fundraiser held back in May. According to the food bank, the money raised will be enough to provide more than 14,000 meals to families in need. Dunkin' also donated money to the UHS Foundation in Binghamton to support pediatric patients. The Southern Tier experienced significant thunderstorms this afternoon. Crews were seen throughout Elmira cleaning up downed trees and working to restore power lines, causing traffic delays in parts of the city. According to NYSEG, the afternoon storms caused at least 300 homes to lose power throughout Chemung County. Russian-linked hackers are demanding $70 million after attacking thousands of companies across the globe. These hackers have already made millions off U.S. companies that paid up this summer. The ramped-up attacks are putting President Biden on the spot just weeks after he brought up the issue at his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Caroline Shively has details from Washington.
$70 million. That's how much Russian-linked criminals say it will take for them to release a decryption code to unlock the computer networks for thousands of small businesses they've hacked. It's the single largest ransomware ever conducted, carried out by the network REvil in 17 countries on Friday.
It's a worldwide hacker affiliate or hacker associate, if you will, that has people all around the world. And that's whom they are extremely confident is behind this.
REvil breached software by the IT firm Kaseya designed to protect against malware. It asked for $5 million from individual service providers and $45,000 from their customers to be released. Then on Sunday, REvil asked for the $70 million to provide a decryption code that would unlock everyone affected. Now the FBI and other U.S. agencies are helping hunt down the hackers.
I directed the full resources of the government to assist in a response.
REvil is the same Russian-linked organization that in May attacked JBS. The meat processing company paid the hackers $11 million after its plants were shut down. Before that, the group also attacked the Colonial Pipeline. Colonial paid out more than $4 million. Those were single companies attacked. Friday's hack affected thousands.
I think that we've demonstrated the nuclear scenario just happened.
Several bills are being written to address these crippling cyber attacks, but no action this week. Congress is out of town. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
A Pennsylvania community is mourning the loss of a firefighter. The Canadian native was killed in the line of duty while battling a house fire Sunday night. As Natasha Brown reports, it was to be the 35-year-old's last shift before returning to his home country.
This is a very, very sad day for the Penman Overbrook Hills Fire Company, Longmont Fire Department.
Tears and heavy hearts after the tragic loss of Pinwin volunteer firefighter Sean DeMonk. He was killed in the line of duty battling a house fire Sunday night in Wynwood.
We as firefighters know the dangers we face, but somehow you never think one of your guys is going to pay the ultimate sacrifice, and so we are struggling.
DeMonk was responding to the fire along Rosedale Road just after 10:30 p.m. on July 4th.
He's one of the crews that went in to extinguish the fire, went up to the third floor. The atmosphere changed quickly on us, a lot of heat, a lot of fire.
The 35-year-old Canadian native was found unresponsive on the 3rd floor. He was in this area on a work visa with his wife. Fellow firefighters reflect on his love of hockey and dedication to his job.
Sean was an avid hockey player when he was up in Canada and helped work with his brother for the family business. He came to support his wife, found us, and fell in love with firefighting.
Community members are sharing in grief, honoring a true hero.
We news this morning about the firefighter, tragically dying in the line of duty, so we thought it would be nice to pay our respects.
Sean was your classic all-around good guy. He fit in everywhere. His dedication was second to none. We lost a good one.
The outer edge of Tropical Storm Elsa felt by rescuers at the site of the Florida condo collapse. But despite the inclement weather, those rescuers say they're not giving up the search for those trapped in the rubble. Charles Watson has the latest from Surfside.
Rain bands from Tropical Storm Elsa making things difficult for search and rescue in Surfside. Video from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue shows crews working in the rubble amid rain and strong winds, though it appears South Florida will avoid a direct hit from the storm. Search efforts have ramped up following a controlled demolition on Sunday that brought down what was left of the building. That helped make the situation safer for those working at the site.
We don't have a 12-story building towering over search and rescuers that had the potential to come down.
More victims were found on Monday. More than 100 are still unaccounted for. No one has been found alive since the initial hours after the collapse.
They are as intent on pulling everybody out of that debris pile as the families are in having those family members pulled out.
Investigators have not determined an official cause, but that has not stopped the families of the victims from seeking answers. At least 5 lawsuits have been filed on behalf of people who lived in the building, some of whom are still missing. They accuse the condo board, engineers, and inspectors of not doing enough to warn residents of the danger.
We're going to be making policy changes, as you know, at every level and at every step in the building process to ensure that this can never, ever happen again.
The Miami-Dade state attorney has also pledged to bring her own case before a grand jury. Depending on what they find, they could recommend reforms or criminal charges. In Surfside, Florida, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Strong winds and heavy rain hitting the Florida Keys today. Elsa is expected to drop several inches of rain before heading up the Florida West Coast. Madeline Rivera is in Clearwater Beach with the latest.
Storm Elsa now takes aim at Florida. The system has the potential for life-threatening storm surge and heavy flooding. Conditions deteriorating in Key West, Florida Tuesday morning. The outer bands of Storm Elsa bringing gusty winds and consistent rainfall. The system could drop up to 5 inches of rain across the Keys, with some isolated areas seeing 8 inches through Wednesday.
It comes down really quickly, and that's where you can start seeing your flooding on roadways, and you have to watch for the totals here because you can see some significant impacts on some of those rivers.
The National Hurricane Center says parts of the Keys are also at risk for life-threatening storm surge and tornadoes. But while the system is not expected to reach hurricane status again, people say they're not taking any chances.
I don't think we're going to have a major impact, but do not ever take anything for granted is kind of the philosophy after everything we've been through.
Elsa is expected to sweep across Florida's west coast before making landfall north of Tampa on Wednesday morning. Winds could reach 70 miles per hour before the system moves inland. Officials are encouraging people to make any last-minute preparations.
Making sure that we have our personal plans and everything in place, and that we have our food, water, medications, everything lined up.
Elsa is expected to weaken once it makes landfall, but heavy rain and strong winds could continue. In Clearwater Beach, Florida, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Still ahead tonight, growing concerns that the July 4th celebrations may fuel the spread of the COVID-19 Delta variant.
I think this raises questions that the CDC really needs to answer. So, for example, what is the true rate of breakthrough infections?
A closer look at what public health officials are calling variant breeding grounds and what they're warning regions with low vaccination rates.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. We did have a few stout thunderstorms that popped up this afternoon. Our highs today were around 90 degrees, so there was a lot of energy to work with as a cold front draws a little bit closer. By tomorrow, that cold front will still be situated a little bit to our north, but it will swing through by the end of the day. Out ahead of it, warm and humid air once again, but by Thursday, temperatures will be dropping by 10 degrees. Our dew points right now around 68 degrees. It has been in the 70s earlier today, and so it's quite steamy. It is going to be another steamy day tomorrow with dew points in the upper 60s and lower 70s, and so you are going to break a sweat and it's going to feel a little bit sticky outside. So let's take a look at our temperature readings as we head into your Wednesday. 75 degrees at 8 o'clock. It will feel like the 80s. It will feel like the 90s by 10 o'clock as we warm up into the 80s. 88 degrees are high by noon, but then those temperatures start to drop as that cold front draws a little bit closer, and our chances of rain will also increase by the afternoon as well. And some of these thunderstorms could bring gusty winds and also drenching downpours. And so there is going to be a lot of rain possibly going through our area. For the latter part of this week, Elsa will finally make its way toward the Delmarva area and then start to move into the Atlantic. It will help to pull in moisture on the backside of it, and so we're going to see a few showers possible Thursday into Friday. In addition to that, we do have another system that will come through, and that's going to enhance our rain chances. Our feature radar is showing for tomorrow morning there could be an isolated thunderstorm or two just north of Corning and in Elmira, and then a few more thunderstorms as we head into the latter part of the day. And again, some of these thunderstorms could bring very gusty winds and also some downpours, so flash flooding will also be a concern. The activity continues into the overnight, waking up to some wet conditions on Thursday as that cold front hangs across our area. And it looks like we're going to see more rain. In fact, there's going to be just really occasional heavy rain as we head into your Thursday, and we're going to see a few more showers coming in early on Friday before it all ends. Tonight, temperatures drop down to around 66 degrees under a mainly clear sky. Highs tomorrow will be around 89 in Elmira, 88 degrees in, or I should say 88 degrees in Elmira and 89 degrees in Corning. We do have the possibility of a few thunderstorms in the afternoon. Getting into your extended forecast, temperatures will be about 10 degrees cooler Thursday and Friday with highs in the upper 70s. Again, drenching rain could be possible during the day on Thursday. A few more showers coming in early in the day on Friday. A little bit drier conditions over the weekend. The cool air will stick around as well.
Growing concerns tonight that the nationwide 4th of July celebrations in the U.S. will fuel the spread of the Delta variant. With large gatherings over the holiday weekend and health officials monitoring what they call variant breeding grounds, Mary Maloney has a closer look in today's Health Minute.
4th of July celebrations lifting spirits across the U.S., but could it also mean soaring COVID-19 infections of the Delta variant? Health officials waiting to see if the rates go up following this holiday weekend, with large gatherings being a well-documented source of spread.
I think this raises questions that the CDC really needs to answer. So, for example, what is the true rate of breakthrough infections? So if you are vaccinated, what is the likelihood that you could still be infected with COVID-19 because of this more contagious Delta variant?
Public health officials say the pattern of infection over the coming weeks will be very telling. As experts warn, progress made across the entire U.S. against the virus may be threatened by regions with low vaccination rates.
Well, we're already starting to see places with low vaccination rates starting to have relatively big spikes from the Delta variant. We've seen this in Arkansas and Missouri and Wyoming. Those are the places where we're going to see more hospitalizations and deaths as well, unfortunately.
According to the CDC, recent COVID-19 case rates are an average of 3 times higher in states with low vaccination rates compared to the United States overall. Parts of the South, Southwest, and Midwest are starting to see spikes in cases, and many of those states like Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi are among those with the lowest rates of vaccination.
And anytime you have large infection, large outbreaks, it does become a breeding ground for potentially more variants.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
Neighbors in a Massachusetts community are showing support for a boy with cancer, one flower at a time. You see, he had planted a sunflower, and then a thief plucked it and stole it. Kelly O'Neill shows us how neighbors are now responding.
Turning onto Laurelwood Drive in North Attleboro.
Sunflowers represent light in the darkness.
Bright yellow sunflowers in full bloom welcome you, but these are special.
Brings me lots of joy.
Last spring, 9-year-old Braden Tryon planted a seed with his friends just to see if it would grow, and it did.
They were so happy. It's just something that he would check out and look at and feed and water whenever we left each week for Hasbro for chemo. So it was a distraction.
Braden is fighting cancer.
Every time I look at the sunflowers before clinic, I think that I'm going to do great today. And then I come home from clinic thinking I did great.
And when a thief caught on Ring doorbell camera ripped his flowers out from the ground,
he was devastated, and he was having a tough week anyway with his treatment, so it came at a really bad time.
They were nowhere to be found. His neighbors weren't having it.
My daughter and I helped him look, and we couldn't find it. I was as heartbroken as he was because we watched the sunflower grow every day too.
But instead of tracking down the culprit,
we just pulled it together the next day and went out and got sunflowers, and we wanted to plant them down here because we didn't want the little boy to be any more heartbroken.
This is Sonny Jr.
His neighbors saved the day, not only replacing the plant, but lining sunflowers up and down the street.
If I have extra in my car, I just pull up to a neighbor, want some for your mailbox? Several neighbors have made, multiple trips to the stores to pick them up.
Like when they supported me, it was very helpful and nice.
Braden has a 1.5 years left of treatment. It's this kind of support that's making it just a little bit brighter.
It's overwhelming. It's emotional. It definitely helps our family. It keeps us going. There's a lot of times where, childhood cancer is just a dark valley. And coming down the street now, it's just a joy.
As victims continue to be unaccounted for in debris of the Florida condo collapse, officials are sending out a warning about scammers setting up fake GoFundMe accounts trying to profit off the tragedy. Mandy Gaither has what you need to know.
In times of tragedy, donating money is often a path toward healing, and scammers know this.
We've seen the best in people. Unfortunately, you also see the worst in people.
While many remain unaccounted for after the condo collapse in Surfside, Florida, the state's chief financial officer is sending out a warning. Anyone who may want to donate money toward relief efforts should beware.
There are fraudulent GoFundMe accounts that are already popping up. We've already had some scammer who's developed some type of a non-for-profit out of New Jersey who has tried to create this opportunity to steal people's information, identity.
To avoid scams, the Federal Trade Commission says to block unwanted calls and text messages. Never give out personal or financial information in response to an unexpected request. Resist the pressure to act immediately. Legitimate businesses give you time to make a decision. And before you give, talk to someone you trust. It could help you realize whether you're dealing with a scam. For the Surfside tragedy, officials say the Volunteer Florida website is the state-sponsored way to donate money.
If you give money to a GoFundMe account, you might as well be throwing it out your window of your car. I just want to incredibly discourage it. You can't do enough due diligence to ensure your GoFundMe donation is going to a noble cause.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Britney Spears' longtime manager is resigning. He wrote that he hasn't spoken to Spears in 2.5 years when she intended to take an indefinite work hiatus. No comment yet from Spears' team on her career plans. This comes nearly 2 weeks after Spears claimed during a court hearing that she was forced to perform and take medication against her will during her nearly 13-year conservatorship. An 11-year-old boy is saluting wounded veterans by giving them a chance to take part in his favorite summer activity. Connor Clement has more.
I'll tell you what, this track presentation means everything. We're so fortunate to have families be able to come back out.
Michael Ahern first met Travis Mills in 2017 at the Belgrade 4th of July parade. Ahern developed a relationship with a veteran who lost both arms and legs and wanted to help his foundation, which allows recalibrated veterans to enjoy an action-packed vacation with their families. Ahern founded Scoops for Troops and donated $400 to the foundation so that kids of the veterans at the retreat could take part in his favorite summer activity.
My favorite thing to do in summer vacation when we're up here is take the boat out to get some ice cream, and I want other kids to experience that.
After that initial donation, Ahern wanted to do more and approached the foundation to see what else he could do.
I asked them how much money it is to host a week, and they said $30,000, and it just clicked, and I wanted to do it.
There's not many kids like him. He really believes in giving back to our veterans and to the community that we love so much here in Maine.
2 years ago, Ahern shared with TV5 his new goal of raising $30,000 that would allow 8 veterans and their families to stay at the retreat. Ahern raised the money in no time, but the pandemic delayed the delivery of the funds. Flash forward to Sunday afternoon, Ahern, surrounded by his family, finally able to present a check for over $31,000 to the foundation.
He's going to help a lot of families with his donations in these funds. We're going to bring them out, show them that, hey, life goes on. Don't live life on the sidelines. Be active in your community, be active in your society, and to always live up the motto of never give up, never quit. And that wouldn't be possible without people out there like Michael and his family. So again, so grateful, humbled really, and just all around excited for the future.
Speaking of future, Ahern has no plans of slowing down and has some pretty sweet goals for Scoops for Troops.
Before he goes off to college, I guarantee there's going to be a lot more of these checks that he's going to be presenting.
And he always says, no matter how young or old you are, you can make a difference. And as young as he is, he's making a difference.
Awesome, buddy. Thanks so much. I do appreciate that. Hard work is paying off, and you guys are crushing it. I'm not sure what it's like to be a winner like you, but I am totes jelly. But either way, thanks again, guys. You're doing great work, and we really do appreciate it here at the foundation, as well as me personally.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. 2 Missouri Boy Scouts are being hailed heroes for rescuing a woman who nearly drowned in floodwaters. It happened at an unexpected location. Heavy rainfall in the area last week caused a basketball court to become submerged. The boys were riding their bikes when they heard a call for help. That's when they saw a woman hanging onto a basketball hoop. With help still minutes away, the scouts went into action, jumping into the water to save the woman. They each grabbed one of her shoulders and pulled her to safety.
I feel like if you're able to save somebody like that, I feel like you should, because you never know when somebody's going to come, somebody else is going to come.
Their scout leaders say they hope to get the boys honorary medals for their bravery. Good job, boys. From our whole team, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great night.